Hey, it's Thursday, and I promised you all that I would do a recipe out of my mom's cookbook every Thursday. So today we're going to start with one of the most staple recipes my mom made. She made it all the time. It was her stay-a-bed stew. Now, Mom didn't coin stay-a-bed stew. That actually came from a 1960s era comedic writer by the name of Peg Bracken. She wrote a cookbook called the I Hate to Cook Cookbook. And in the cookbook, it was just basically her humor and a whole bunch of recipes that were very, very easy to do with minimal ingredients and just easy peasy. So the original Peg Bracken stay-a-bed stew was, this is for the days when you're in negligee, in bed, with a murder story and a box of bonbons, and possibly a good case of the flu. So this is basically stay in bed. Make it, stay in bed. Her original recipe was basically Yankee Frost roast. Mix these things up in a casserole dish that has a tight lid. 2 pounds of stew meat, 1 can of tiny peas, a cup of sliced carrots, 2 chopped onions, 1 teaspoon salt, dash of pepper, 1 can cream of tomato soup thinned, or celery or mushroom soup like way thinned, 1 big raw potato sliced, and a piece of bay leaf. Put the lid on the casserole in a 275-degree oven. Now go back to bed. It will cook happily all by itself and be done in about 5 hours. So that was the original Peg Bracken recipe that my mom turned into her recipe. So I'm going to type this up and I'm going to put it in the comments. I'll also send you a link to the Peg Bracken so that you guys all know where my mom got this. So this was my mom's recipe. Mushroom stay-a-bed stew, 1 chuck roast, 1 can cream of mushroom soup, 1 can mushrooms with juice, 1 package brown gravy mix, 1½ cups water, pepper to taste, trim fat off the roast, paste in a pan with a tight lid or a pan that can be covered with foil, mix all other ingredients, pour over roast, cover tightly, cook at 225 at least 6 hours, serve over noodles. Now, version 2, substitute 1 package of onion soup mix for gravy, mix and cut water down to 1 cup. Version number 3, add carrots and spuds to number 1 or number 2. Okay, so I have got my chuck roast all ready to rock and roll in my pan. And yes, my chuck roast is frozen. And the reason for that is because I forgot to take it out last night. But with the slow and go oven, you can totally not worry about it being thawed. Now, the other thing too was back in the 60s, when you would get a chuck roast, the chuck roast would have like this big fat cap across the back, and my mom used to trim that off and she'd cut it into little teeny tiny pieces and turn those into little beef chicharrones. Now I know we all eat pork chicharrones like there's no tomorrow, but a beef chicharrone, ooh, that was a delicacy and it would make me incredibly happy. So in this bowl, I've got several potatoes. So there's 3 people in my family. I like to do a potato per person with an extra because I got big eaters. And I got 3 carrots. So I'm just going to dump that over the roast. So dump that over the roast. So we've got peas and carrots over the roast. Now, she says mix all the other ingredients. I've never been a fan of just doing the brown gravy mix because why do just brown gravy when you can do onion soup mix? Onion soup mix is a staple in my house. So here we've got good old onion soup mix. I'm gonna crank that up and I am going to throw that in the bowl that I just had. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to put you on hold for a second. I forgot my cream of mushroom soup. All right, we're back. Part 2. All right, so I've got a can of cream of mushroom soup. And you can use, we carry a whole bunch of really, really good cream of whatevers. We have a cream of poblano that I've used this for. I've had a cream of jalapeno. I've used cream of chicken. Whatever we got. Life is good. All right. So, and then she says a little bit of water. So excuse me while I go grab a little water. So we got a little bit of water there. And then she says a can of mushrooms with the juice. Now, honestly, when I cook this, if I have mushrooms, like regular mushrooms, I'll take the regular mushrooms. I'm not a big fan of the can of mushrooms, but my mom, she was a big fan of the can of mushrooms, and she would do those all the time. Forgot my spatula. So you mix that all up. You know, this is a really tough recipe. You know, Mom was the queen of not so tough recipes. Now she said a little bit of pepper, so we're going to do that first because there's plenty of salt in the canned stuff. So you really don't need to add any salt to this, but you know, pepper will never do you wrong. I've been binging Top Chef, and you don't know how many times they're yelled at for not you know, oh, I could just use a grain of salt and a little bit of pepper. So, you know, use a lot of pepper if you want. I'm using a lot. I like pepper. Pepper's my friend. All right, so we've got the gloopy mess of the mushrooms, the cream of mushroom soup, and the packet of onion soup mix. And you just pour that over the top. Spread it around. And you've got this absolutely lovely flavor bomb. You cover it with foil. And you're to cook it in a slow oven. I've got my oven set at 225 degrees. As per Mom's instructions. And you just pop it in the oven and go for 5 hours. And you can go back to bed. Or you can go back to binging Top Chef. Or eating bonbons. Or reading a murder mystery. Or go do your errands. Because it's slow and go in the oven. Nothing's going to happen to it. Even if you cook it 6, 7, 8 hours. The meat just becomes softer and softer and more shreddy and yummy and delicious. So it's all good. So, so that's it for today. Mom's stay-a-bed stew. We're going to pop it in the oven, and when it comes out, I'll show you what it looks like. So anyways, that's it for now, and don't forget, I love you, and ta-ta for now. Hey everyone, so we are roughly 6 hours later with our baby slow and go in the oven, and because this is a slow and go recipe, you can do it in your crock pot. Or if you don't have the 6 hours to invest in making your house smell amazing, then you can do it in your Instapot. Really, either way, it's going to work. So we've just pulled it out of the oven, and my chef hands, I still have them, but not, you know. Like in the Mexican restaurant. Don't touch the plate, it's hot. So, anyways, so we've just pulled it out. Let's see what we're up against. So, little steamy. All right, so as you can see, it's all kinds of, let me give you the bird's eye view. It's all kinds of yummy brown. So, basically what you want is you want it to get to the point where the meat is falling off the bone and the vegetables are nice and soft, nice soft veggies, and you want to make sure that the meat is just basically kind of falling apart, which is what it's doing. So ooh, this was my favorite part, is the gristle. Yeah, no, we won't talk about that. But anyways, so that's it. That is the stay-a-bed stew, the mushroom version. The mushrooms are all nice and cooked. The veggies are all nice and soft. There's this beautiful gravy that, if you want, you can serve it over noodles. But because we made the potatoes all I normally do is just mash up a couple of potatoes and just serve a little bit of the gravy and the beef on top of it. And that's it. So there you go. Recipe number 1 of my mom's cookbook, her stay-a-bed stew, which means that you can fix it and forget it, and your family has something to eat when they get home from doing whatever they're doing. So that's it for today. And don't forget, I love you guys. And until next Thursday when we do, I believe it's chicken soup. So hopefully the weather will be appropriate for soup. If not, we might have to do a different recipe, but I don't know. But that's the plan so far. So anyways, that's it for today. And thank you, and I hope you try this recipe. And like I said, down in the comments, I've got the recipe, and we'll talk to you next time. And don't forget, I love you. Ta-ta for now.